What's up, fish dude and fish dudettes? It's your boy Zion with Exotic Aquatics, and today I got a molly fish breeding video for y'all. These tips and tricks for breeding these mollies will work for sailfins, any type of color variant, all that good stuff. These were actually the first type of live bear that I had in the fish room that I bred. They were my first project. I started in a little 15-gallon with the 1-to-3 ratio, you know, 1 male, 3 females, and they started breeding pretty good. And the reason I did start in the 15 gallons because I knew I was gonna have a 29-gallon that they were gonna go in. That's not it. I actually just got rid of them. That's why I'm doing the breeding video on them, kind of just completely finishing with the whole molly saga. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into some of these tips and tricks. Alright, so tip number one, we're gonna go with temperature. Temperature, they like 75 to 80. I like to stick with 78 right there in that sweet spot, and that's pretty much what all my tanks run at, is about 78 degrees. These fish are actually super hardy fish that can live in parameters from 7.5 all the way to 8.5, being super hardy. And these are one of the very few fish that can go from freshwater to full-blown saltwater. Yes, they can live in brackish water too, but these fish can actually live in full-blown saltwater. It's crazy, I know, but they can actually do it, and they're one of the very few fish that can. Now, when feeding these guys, you're going to want to feed them a very wide variety in their diet, especially when they're pregnant. You're going to want to feed them loads of frozen brine shrimp. I would feed them like 2 to 3 times a day when they're pregnant, but not big feedings, because the mollies, they get huge when they're pregnant. You don't want them overstuffing themselves, and it's not a really good situation. So you're going to want to do maybe like some type of the fluval bug bites. Those are really good for them. The frozen brine shrimp, as I mentioned. Bloodworms are another big treat that they love. I wouldn't feed it to them every day, you know, kind of. Alright y'all, here we are at month number 1. These guys are eating brine shrimp, and they are eating like crushed up pellets, crushed up flakes, just little things that can fit inside of their mouth is what I try to feed them. They're not really too picky. And here is the daddy and the mommy. The dad is up top, mom is below, and here we're gonna give you a close-up on their genitalia. Right here, this is how you can tell their difference. The females are triangular on their dorsal fin, and the males, it's like a long little piece that he can actually spin around, and that's how he gets the female pregnant, with that little thing right there. Alright y'all, we're gonna talk about the pregnancy cycle a little bit here. So these guys will actually, on their initial spawn, it'll take about 4 to 6 weeks for them to have babies, and let me tell you, it feels like forever. These were my first live bears, so I was excited to see them. So and with my luck, you know, it did take the full 6 weeks, but it was very worth it. She had about 15 babies. They say it's 20 to 50 babies. I noticed though, the more spawns that she had, I had about 4 spawns, that she was having more and more spawns with each one. I did keep all of them together, so that may have been why I wasn't seeing the full 50, but I kept them in a 29 tall, and it had plenty of guppy grass in it, as you can see. It had 2 pots inside of it with 2 different plants, but they were kind of bushing plants, so I felt like the babies could hide in there really good, and they did for the most part, as you can see. I mean, I kept the numbers up pretty good and raised them all the way through. For the tank mates, I went with the Cory catfish just to clean up the stuff that they kind of leave behind on the ground. They also never bothered with the babies. They never tried to eat the babies or anything. The mollies never really showed no aggression towards the Corys, and they even ate with them, as you can see, and they never really fought. Here we go at the 5.5 month mark, and these guys are almost fully grown. From this point, they'll kind of just get more chunkier, bigger, more broad, and as you can, around this time is when you can sex them pretty good, and this is usually the time when I start to sell them. They've been very profitable for me. They bought quite a few things in the fish room, and thank y'all for watching this video all the way through. Y'all like, comment, subscribe, peace.